So our Cover Color concrete stain is a penetrating stain. It's a concentrated pigment in a liquid form that you, the installer, dilute either with water or with solvent, and it penetrates deep into the concrete or porous surface and imparts a long-lasting color to that surface. It's UV stable, so it can be used inside or outside. It's very fast drying, and it's easy to use. So our Cover Color concrete stain can be used interior or exterior. As long as the surface is porous and the color can soak into the surface, into the concrete, then we can use it interior or exterior. So we're using it a lot on, let's talk about exterior first of all, like pool decks or driveways or patios, anywhere where we want to bring out and beautify the concrete or the surface before we seal it. It's fast drying, it's easy to use, there's no smell, no odor, no very low VOC. So it lends itself not only to exterior application, we can also use it interior. So where we have decorative concrete, for example, could be in a storefront, could be like a food court or in a shopping mall, airports, wherever you see concrete or porous surfaces, we can use this color stain. We developed the Cover Color concrete stain initially for commercial and industrial applications. It's a very durable, long-lasting, UV-resistant stain that we can use inside the property or outside. But it is very easy to use. There's no reactivity, there's no corrosion, corrosive properties, there's very low VOC. So we can use this professional grade color stain for residential DIY projects as well. So on the commercial side, we're going to be using it in retail outlets, in storefronts, hotel lobbies, anywhere where we're trying to impart a nice color into the concrete and provide and beautify that surface. We have business applications in lobbyways, in warehouses, showrooms. These are all areas where we can use the color. Outside restaurants, inside the restaurants. Really the applications are numerous on the commercial side. And then when we think about the residential side, well, we can do our homes, right? We can do inside the home. We can do kitchen areas, countertops, concrete countertops you can use it on. And then outside, of course, we have around our pool decks is popular, the driveways, patios. Again, when we're trying to create a long-lasting, attractive color around our property or inside our property. Yeah, so off-the-shelf color stains, concrete color stains, typically are acrylic-based or polymer-based, we call them, or they're acidic-based. So they're very different from our penetrating stain, Cover Color penetrating stain. The acrylic-based really soak in, but they leave a film on the surface of the concrete. They don't deeply penetrate into the concrete itself. So they don't last as long, they fade sooner, and they can also act as a bond breaker to a sealer or protective coating over the top. They also take longer to dry, typically 4 hours or more to dry, and then maybe another hour or two before you can seal them with a clear sealer. The acidic or what they call reactive stains that you can also get from off-the-shelf or DIY box outlets are reactive. They actually react with the surface, with the minerals on the surface. They're corrosive, much more difficult to use, take much longer to dry or to use, maybe 6 hours plus, and then you have to wait typically another 24 hours before you can use them, seal over them. You've got to neutralize the surface. You've got to flush the surface many times to neutralize it, maybe using chemicals. So much more difficult to use, much more drawn out process, not unlike our ColorStain, CoverTec color stain, which you just dilute with a solvent or with a water, and then that will dry between 15 and 60 minutes. So much faster and easier to use application, longer lasting because we get this deeper penetration. It also comes in a lot more colors. That's another point. These off the shelf have limited colors. We have 21 colors, and those colors themselves can be mixed together to produce a much larger range of colors. So we're getting greater color range, longer, durable finish, and much easier to use. So the situations you wouldn't use our ColorStain are really where the surface is not porous. This is a penetrating stain. We have pigments in there, very small pigments in a concentrate form. You dilute it and it soaks into the porous surface. So if, for example, the concrete has an existing sealer on it, or maybe a curing agent, or any type of treatment on the surface that prevents that penetration of the color, then you shouldn't use our product. You can use it interior or exterior as long as the surface is porous. Mainly we're using it on concrete or brick pavers, but you can also use it on wood. But again, don't use it on any of those surfaces if they are not porous and absorbent. So a couple of issues that you might see with other concrete stains. Let's talk about the polymer-based or acrylic-based stains. If you're seeing that, or the results that you're getting aren't lasting very long, you're seeing the color fading, or maybe seeing signs of peeling, or the sealer or the top coat that's going over that isn't bonding very well, then you want to look at the penetrating sealer. A penetrating color stain. Right. This will go deep into that surface and bring the color deep into the concrete or porous surface, rather than leaving a film on the surface that can be peeled or lift or fade easily. The other situation you may find is just ease of use and time. If you're finding that you need things to dry quicker, you need to be able to use it easily, then again the ColorStain has that advantage because it'll dry between 15 minutes to up to an hour, right? Depending on whether you dilute it with water or whether you use a solvent. So if you're in a situation where you want much easier application and much faster drying times, that's another reason why you'd look at our CoverColor concrete stain. And then lastly, for a kind of safety reason, these acidic or reactive color stains, they react with the surface. Difficult to control. You need a lot of time to use them. They're more dangerous because they're corrosive, and involves a lot of flushing and rinsing and neutralizing. So if you want to avoid all that extra work, time, and concern, again, you'd look at our ColorStain, which is a much faster and easier application. So good practice with regards to applying a concrete stain, our CoverColor concrete stain. Obviously you want the concrete itself to be clean, no barrier, no sealers or contaminants on the surface that will prevent this color stain from penetrating into the surface. So that's the number one requirement. Second thing is you want to apply really with a pump-up sprayer or garden sprayer That gives you the best and even application of the stain. You can use a sponge, you can use a roller, but that will tend to put it on heavier. You'll get much better coverage and a much even application if you use a pump-up sprayer. Just low pressure spray. Again, we can use water. That will take about 30 minutes to dry. We use water to dilute this concentrated color, and no odor involved there, very low VOC. So if you're indoors, I suggest you use water, but also works very effectively outside. If you need faster drying, then you can use solvents like acetone or rubbing alcohol or even xylene. So all these can be used to dilute this concentrate if you want faster drying. As far as sealing it, once it is dry, let's say between 15 minutes and an hour, you want to seal it over with a clear sealer. One of our clear sealers like our Strong Seal Wet Look or like our U140 or our U100. All these sealers will go over that, lock that color, and then protect it from rain or moisture, any subsequent rain or moisture. So that's the main things: a clean surface, using a pump-up sprayer, and then diluting it either with clean water or with a solvent like rubbing alcohol or acetone.